Today we're out in Lakeville and we're talking with Chuck as well as a homeowner about this awesome property that's on the market right now. It's got smart home technology, solar, and electric vehicle charging. Let's go check it out. All right, so here we have the Skybell doorbell, which was included with DR Horton when they built the house. So that's going to link up with the security system as well. Oh, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. This is a great property in Lakeville. It's built by DR Horton. It's only a couple years old, and our sellers are big believers in tech. They have a Tesla. They saw a need, so they've added a ton of smart home and tech stuff. Some of the smart home came with the DR Horton package, but they have solar, they have Tesla charger. Being that it has a hot tub, solar adds a lot of value.
All right, so inside we've got one Z-Wave switch that's going to connect to the system as well. You can, of course, add additional switches after the fact and then just match them. We've got another lock here, this smart lock from Kwikset. Easy to use the rekey feature. That way all of your physical keys match. If you've watched a previous video, you know I've talked about security issues around smart locks. And here you can tell the code is nice and hidden inside, and the battery door is locked, so I can't just open it up to get that master code. So good work there. Really important thing to look for when you're listing a home for sale. So here we have the IQ panel. Like I said, all of their systems are going to be tied into this, so you can arm and disarm the overall alarm. That is a professionally monitored system, which would convey with the property, and of course the new owner is going to want to get their own system set up. So they do have the smart light here at the front porch. That was that switch that we showed you. There's also a lamp module that the seller may or may not take with them, just a simple plug-in that can be controlled here as well. Could be synced by voice. Here we've got the front door lock, so you can lock all the locks at the same time and unlock them. Right from the panel, we can control our thermostat, which ironically is just right next to this panel anyway, so not really huge value add there, but also garage door control, and then all of this can be accessed remotely. So this panel is actually communicating with the devices via Z-Wave, a very easy pairing method there, and then it's communicating with the network over Wi-Fi, and that's how you're able to control anything anywhere in the world. So going back to the smart home features that came with the property, do you find that buyers are really looking for that when they're building a home?
It seems like, and DR Horton in particular includes smart home with their homes, so I think a lot of people are looking at that. I just built my own new construction, and I'm a bit of a techie, so I felt that their tech wasn't up to my standards, and I built my own. So I think it adds value in a weird way. I think people are looking for it in a weird way, but generally if people are into that, they're going to want to make sure it's customized. It's not necessarily the builder-provided package.
How has the smart home technology helped for the seller right now with having that smart lock and that smart doorbell and the security system in place?
Beyond just the peace of mind as they're actually selling the house and being able to control things that are happening as they're coming and going, it's a value add to people who are coming through the house and they're seeing, usually the lights are on, but they can tinker around with it and try talking to Alexa. Make sure it didn't go off as I was saying it. But I think people see that value, and Alexa is just part of every day. I think that's pretty prolific. So having that integrated with a home where we're highlighting smart home technology, I think is a big thing.
Awesome. Now, of course, Alexa is going to be personal property, whereas the lock, the security system, and doorbell are all fixtures. What conversations did you have with the seller about, what's going to be left behind, what they can take with them, and how do you advertise that?
I think it's really important to set clear expectations with sellers because taking out smart home components like that and leaving screw holes sticking out and putting in dumb technology is you're moving backwards. I don't think that's a good idea. So I think having those expectations set at the beginning. In addition, I think an important thing that's coming up more and more is educating sellers on how they can use that technology during showings legally, because we have to be careful about monitoring conversations and listening to conversations we're not privy to listen to. So I think that's really important as well.
So when did you purchase this home?
We purchased this home in October of 2020.
Okay. And you built with DR Horton. Was the smart home technology a draw, like something you were interested in when you purchased the home, or did it not matter at all?
It was definitely a selling feature. We have friends who also have a DR Horton home who they use their smart home features to unlock the door, turn on the lights for their kids when they get home from school. So being able for my husband to unlock the door when I'm an idiot and lock myself out is definitely a selling feature.
When pricing the property, how did you determine the value of the solar?
That's a tough one. For me, I think solar right now reminds me of what swimming pools were in Minnesota a few years ago before the pandemic, where there's a bit of a checkbox and people see that it has solar and they decide, I don't want anything to do with the new tech that I have to learn about. I'm just going to go look at regular houses. So I think you tend to scare people off. So we actually, sadly, diminish the solar in our marketing because it limits your buyer pool on the front end. Once we can get them here and we can explain it to them and they can see that it's not something to be scared of, I think it's a big value add. So I think it's really important to educate the buyers that are actually coming to the property. So we have information on the solar, what it does. We're showing what they will save in real time with this program. Because I think until they see the numbers, some of the people who don't take the time to research it and don't understand it, need it really spelled out for them.
What has the experience been like so far with getting your house ready for the market, and what have you thought of as far as like marketing the solar system and the EV and the hot tub that might be different from previous homes?
The solar we thought was going to be a huge selling point, and I think as Chuck was saying, people just don't understand much about solar and they shy away from it. My husband did tons of research before we got it, so he's very passionate about the solar.
Tell me about EV installations in the garage and the value that might bring for the homeowner.
Yeah, planning ahead and doing on the front end will save a ton of money. And just having the hardware, the electrical run and the hardware installed will save you a ton of money moving forward. If anyone's been following the news, they know that there are a lot of mandates moving forward where electrical vehicles are going to be part of the mainstream. So even if you're not going to use it specifically, and I hope you are, if you're not, the next person you're going to sell to is, and they're going to want to see that, so it saves a ton of money.
So the buyers that you're working with, do a lot of them drive electric vehicles now? Is it something that you're seeing them ask about?
Interesting question too, and again, comparing my two markets, it's interesting how prolific they are in Florida and they're up and coming in Minnesota, but I'm seeing a lot more of my clients driving them. In fact, as we are filming this, 3 of us drove up in Teslas, and there's a Tesla in the garage, so I think that says a lot.
And so you've added solar, EV charger, you added a hot tub. That's quite a bit of stuff. What was the draw for that, and what was that process like?
We certainly love our toys, that is for sure. It all started with a Tesla charger. My husband sells cars and very much saw the value in having one and wanted a charger at the house, and so he started that process. It was definitely very tedious to find the electrician and get everything installed, but once it's there, it's great to be able to have it on its own meter, and you get charged different rates for charging it at different times, so you're not paying your usual electrical bill.
Okay, so you have off-peak then.
For sure.
Awesome, and you have Dakota Electric out here?
Yes.
Can you talk about like how that works then?
Sure. So the Tesla charger is on its own meter. If you charge it during day hours, you're charged standard rate. If you charge it during off-peak hours, which is usually overnight, you get like half of the rate.
Here we are out in the garage, and we've got the Tesla wall connector. Very clean install too. There's no conduit running to it or anything. They put it behind the sheetrock. So kudos to the electrician that did this install. It looks great. But even if you don't have a Tesla, this is still really nice to have because you can actually replace this wall unit with a different style that matches your car, or you could just use an adapter on the other end, like a Tesla tap. So even if you don't own an electric vehicle today, odds are that you or someone in the future within this household or the next owner will own an electric vehicle. So there's a lot of value here, even if you're not currently utilizing it. The MyQ garage door system is going to allow the homeowner to check the status of the garage door anywhere in the world, close that if needed, and that does also connect to the security panel. The nice thing with having your panel in the garage is it makes it a lot more affordable to add an electric vehicle or to run conduit out to a hot tub, which they've done in this case. We can see inside here, they've actually got quite a bit of space left for when they do finish their basement. But they've got the hot tub labeled and the solar labeled there, as well as their Tesla charger. So this is kind of what they've added since purchasing the home. And behind me here is the N-phase inverter for that solar system. So when you add solar to a home, you're going to have extra meters in the back or on the side of your house here. So we have a shutoff, then we're going to have one that's going to be the solar production meter, clearly labeled in this case. This is for their internet that goes into their house. Then we've got what's being sold, as well as they do have the off-peak for their electric vehicle charging. So if they're going to be charging overnight, they get the time of use rate, and so that's calculated separately. And so you end up with 3 different meters, all that get read, and will show up on your utility bill. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour. I'll put a link in the description below of the property if it's still available for sale. You can certainly check it out. Otherwise, if you're building a smart home, you gotta check out this video on the screen now. It's gonna show you the tips that I recommend for when you build your next house to future-proof it. Until next time, take care.